2,000 years ago, in a small corner of the Roman Empire, a movement began that would change the course of history. At its heart stood a rabbi named Jesus, and alongside him, a woman whose role has been debated, distorted, and reimagined for centuries, Mary Magdalene. In this episode, we explore the fascinating relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, peeling back the layers of scripture, history, and myth to uncover the truth hidden beneath centuries of misunderstanding. First-century Galilee was a land under Roman occupation. Heavy taxation crushed the poor. Religion was not only spiritual but political. Pharisees, Sadducees, Essenes, Zealots all vied for influence. Women's role. Jewish women often had limited public roles, yet some, especially wealthy ones, could support religious teachers. Mary's ability to travel with Jesus hints at independence and resources. Mary's background. She came from Magdala, a thriving fishing town. Archaeology shows it had synagogues, markets, Roman influence. Her name Magdalene means from Magdala. Unlike most women who were identified by husbands or sons, she is known by her hometown, a rare sign of her prominence. Reenactments of Galilee life, bustling markets, Roman soldiers, fishing boats. Luke 8:2 introduces Mary as the woman from whom 7 demons had gone out. What does this mean? Scholars suggest literal exorcism of evil spirits, or a symbolic description of illness, trauma, or suffering. The number 7 in Jewish thought equals completeness. This may symbolize total restoration. After this healing, Mary joins Jesus' ministry along with Joanna and Susanna. She is not passive, she becomes an active disciple and even a financial supporter. Symbolic visuals of light overcoming darkness, ancient healing rituals, freedom imagery. The Gospels mention Mary Magdalene more often than most of the 12 disciples. She traveled with Jesus through towns, heard his teachings, and witnessed miracles. Unlike most women of her time, she lived publicly as a disciple, breaking social norms. Her presence challenges stereotypes. She is not in the background, but at the center of the movement. This raises questions. Did Jesus deliberately elevate women in his ministry? The answer seems to be yes. Mary Magdalene is evidence of this. Group of disciples traveling, Jesus teaching crowds, Mary depicted walking alongside. Over time, Mary Magdalene's image was distorted. In 591 AD, Pope Gregory the Great preached a sermon combining Mary Magdalene, the unnamed sinful woman who anoints Jesus' feet, and Mary of Bethany. This fusion labeled her a prostitute, a mistake repeated for over a millennium. Art, theater, and literature portrayed her as the fallen woman redeemed by Jesus. But in reality, the Gospels never describe her this way. The Eastern Orthodox Church never accepted this error. They always honored her as equal to the apostles. Medieval paintings of Mary as penitent contrast with icons in Eastern churches. Section 5, at the cross and the tomb. 17 o'clock to 21 o'clock, when Jesus was arrested, most disciples fled. Mary Magdalene, however, stood by the cross. John 19:25, she followed him to the tomb. On Easter morning, she arrives first, a powerful detail. In John 20, the risen Jesus appears to her. She doesn't recognize him until he says her name, Mary. This personal recognition shows deep intimacy and trust. Jesus commissions her, "Go to my brothers and tell them," making her the first witness of the resurrection, the apostle to the apostles. This moment is not only personal, but revolutionary. In a culture where women's testimony was considered invalid, Jesus chose her as the primary witness. Cinematic resurrection scene, emotional recognition moment. Outside the Bible, other writings shed light on Mary's role. The Gospel of Mary, 2nd century. Mary comforts and teaches the disciples after Jesus' death. Peter questions her authority, but Levi defends her. Suggests early conflict about women's leadership. The Gospel of Philip refers to Mary as Jesus' companion, describes Jesus showing special affection for her. Some interpret this romantically, others symbolically. Other Gnostic texts portray Mary as spiritually enlightened, receiving hidden teachings from Jesus. While not part of the New Testament, These writings show how some early Christians saw Mary Magdalene not as a secondary figure, but as a leader. Ancient papyrus manuscripts, dramatic readings of apocryphal passages, scholars in libraries, modern theories like the Da Vinci Code suggest Mary and Jesus were secretly married. These ideas capture imagination but lack historical proof. What we can say is that Jesus and Mary shared a unique spiritual partnership. Instead of scandal, her story shows courage, loyalty, and faith. Clips of Da Vinci's Last Supper, contrasted with biblical texts. Section 8. Legacy and rediscovery -28 minutes and 0 seconds to 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Mary Magdalene's reputation has undergone a transformation. Once wrongly branded a prostitute, now recognized as apostle to the apostles. In 2016, Pope Francis elevated her feast day, restoring her dignity in the church. Her story resonates today with themes of women's leadership and faith, loyalty in times of crisis, transformation and hope. Mary reminds us that the Easter message began not with kings or priests, but with a woman's voice. I have seen the Lord. Closing montage of art through history, modern worship, women leaders, empty tomb scene, voiceover, calm, reflective tone. The relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene was not about scandal or secrecy. It was about discipleship, devotion, and the power of a transformed life. In remembering her, we remember the courage to believe, to stand firm, and to proclaim hope when others fall silent. Mary Magdalene's voice still echoes across the centuries, calling us all to see the risen Christ.